What's up, Libra? How are you guys doing? It is time for your weekly check-in. We're going to see what's going on with you guys in the third week of November. So since it's a weekly check-in, it's just a short, quick, general, energetic overview. If any of you are in need of a personal reading, if you want, you can just go straight to my website, tarotwithrich.com. But I do have a link for that right down here in the description of this video. Damn it, I was going to do a deck swap. Shit. I always think that when I'm in the middle of a video, and then when I get off the video, I forget. And anyway. All right, well, let's work with the decks that we got here. Let's see how the energy's looking between Libra and the person they're dealing with in the third week of November 2025. How's it looking? How's it looking? 3 of Pentacles. Well, that's not horrible. I mean, it doesn't say a whole lot, but at least it's not a negative energy. You know, most of the time. Not a pretty card jumps out first thing. That's kind of a neutral energy to jump out first thing. We'll see what it means. 6 of Wands reversed. Okay. Ooh. Somebody might be. I knew this was going to happen. That's why I'm glad I didn't speak on it as soon as it came out. I think somebody is contemplating whether or not to initiate communication. Yeah. I think this person's thinking about, yep. Oh man, they're thinking about it. Boy, they're contemplating it. If it wasn't for this right here, I would say you about to hear from this person. They about to show up in your fucking inbox. But the 2 of Wands or the 2 of Swords will throw a monkey wrench in that, because that's the crossroads card. You know, it's about being at a crossroads and being unsure as to which path to take. It's kind of like the 2 of Swords. So, I'm thinking that they're contemplating it. I don't know what's holding them back, though. Honestly, the rest of the energy surrounding this, like I said in the beginning, is kind of dry and boring. It really is. I mean, well, we do got the 3 of Swords here, indicating some unhealed heartbreak. Other than that, though, this is about 75% just kind of dry and boring, man. There's not a lot to say here. Not a whole lot. And man, I wouldn't be surprised if this person has a copy and paste message in their notes ready to send to you. You know, or if they sit and start typing out a message to you, and then right before they click send, they delete it, you know. Some of you dealing with a Gemini also have Pisces. But, you know, it could be anybody. Those are just energies. Let's see how they feel about you at the deepest level. And my personal favorite, what's their energy look like in general? What kind of person are they? How's this person feel about you? What are their intentions? And what's their energy look like? Oh, shit. Well, maybe it's a good thing that they're holding back. It looks like this person's still pretty defensive and argumentative. Now, let's get 3 shuffles. Here's 1, 2. And 3. Well, they have not had a lot of success trying to replace you. Oh, here we go with this bullshit. Okay. So yeah, they are still holding on to some negativity. Holding on to a grudge. Holding on to bitterness, resentment. But I think they're curious as to whether or not a reconciliation is even up on the table. So far, it's really looking like, from their perspective, it's really looking like you just give absolutely no fucks about their existence whatsoever. I don't know if that's true or not. I would imagine, though, that if you're watching this video wondering about them, it's probably not true. But for some reason, it kind of looks like that from their end, and that may be the reason why they're kind of holding back, you know? It's not really telling me. It's not really telling me, especially if they're the ones who are angry and defensive and argumentative. I think they're just curious. And you know that most of the time when a past person comes back, especially if you're dealing with a man, I've seen women do it too, but men are way worse about it. Most of the time when a past person comes back, it's because they can't find nobody, right? The person they thought was going to be better than you turned out to not be better than you, right? Or they thought that they could just easily replace you, and it turned out that they fucking couldn't. A lot of times when people find themselves in that place and they start letting their thoughts get the best of them and they start worrying that their options are all dried up and they're not going to be able to meet nobody, that's when they start thinking in the past, looking in the rearview mirror. Well, if I'm going to bring somebody into my life, probably the only way I'm going to be able to do that is if I get someone who's already given me a chance before to give me another one. I wonder if anybody from my past misses me, loves me, wants to be with me, any of that bullshit, you know? So, okay. Let's see what advice wants to come through. What advice wants to come through? I don't know what deck to use. Let's go ahead and use my other Egyptian deck. I like pairing these two together. We got the good old Miss Cleo. You ain't a fucking tarot reader if you ain't got Miss Cleo's deck laying around. And Egyptian Art Nouveau. I think that's how you pronounce it. Two Egyptian decks. They go good together. Let's see what advice wants to come through. What advice wants to come through for Libra? Oh, there goes that 9 of Cups, though. You know what that means, right? If you are not rock fucking solid, stay away from this person. I'm not, well, hang on. Let me get the rest of the spread before I keep blabbing. Yeah, okay. Yup. Okay, that's what I thought. So, I'm not going to tell you what you should or shouldn't do. Not going to do that. And you know, most of the time, I try to take that route, if I can. Because telling you what you should or shouldn't do, really all that's going to do is give you a little Band-Aid there for the moment. And sometimes that's necessary, depending on the situation. I will say this, though. What you want to do is you want to go inside and have an honest conversation with yourself. Okay, and this is, I don't care what you tell me. I don't care what your friends think. I don't care what anyone thinks. Okay, the universe doesn't care what anyone thinks. Okay, you got to have an honest conversation with you. Ask yourself, could this person trigger me if they tried? Even if I was good at covering it up and pretending they didn't trigger me, deep down, at the deepest level, could this person really hurt me if they tried? Could they trigger me? If the answer is yes, that's okay. That doesn't mean that you're a stupid person. That doesn't mean that you've done something wrong. It doesn't mean that you're not spiritual. The most spiritual decision that you could possibly make would be analyzing your own frequency and making a solid, educated decision as to what you're going to mix your energy with. All right? Just because you're still at a weak, vulnerable place, that does not mean you're doing something wrong. What is not a very smart spiritual decision is when you are in a very weak, vulnerable place and you put yourself around somebody that could easily trigger the fuck out of you. That's stupid. You know, I can name off the top of my head right now 4 fucking people that I will not go anywhere near because I'm going to break their fucking jaw. I ain't going near them. Not doing it. Not doing it. I'm going to knock your fucking teeth out the back of your throat. That's why I'm not coming near you. We're all humans, dude. It's all good. It's all good. If somebody could trigger you, it's cool. Well, we need to acknowledge, like I acknowledge that's not cool. Every day that goes past, I'm constantly working on that, doing the best I can to transmute and process that shit. But as of right now, any of these people, I will not go anywhere near them. I will avoid them at all cost. It's not worth the karma. It's not worth catching a fucking case. It's not worth it. It'll fuck up my entire energetic pathway moving forward. It's not worth it, you know? So that's what I'll say. If you tell yourself, yes, this person could trigger me, if they said the wrong thing or if they did the wrong thing or whatever, then just stay away. That's all I'm going to say. All right, let's see how things are looking between the singles and your love interest. How are things looking between the single Libras and the person that you're interested in? How's it looking? How's it looking? Uh-oh, 4 of Cups. Well, you know what I got to ask you when this comes out, right? Does this person know that you're interested? That's one of the questions that I'll have you answer if you get a general personal reading from me for your love interest. And sometimes, not the most common response that I get when I do a personal reading is yes, they know. But about maybe 15% of the time, 20% of the time, the next most common response I get is maybe I'm not sure. So the only thing I would tell you is, do you know for a fact that this person knows how you feel? If I ask you that question and you say maybe not sure, I don't think they do. I don't think that they're aware that you're interested, or they're not aware of how interested you are. Now, if you have made your feelings and your intentions abundantly fucking clear, and that means they're trying to pass on this opportunity. That's what that means. I see a lot of codependency energy in here. I'm not going to dig all that up. Unless it comes through again. I really don't want to, but I see a lot of that energy in here. And I'm thinking there might be somebody else in the mix here. This person might be juggling you and someone else. Very potentially. I'm not seeing you moving on from this. But I'm not seeing any movement happening with the Hangman there. This is probably arguably one of the cards in the tarot that indicates stagnation, right? More so than anything else is the Hangman. That dude ain't going nowhere. Ain't no movement happening there. That dude is stuck. But he's stuck because he wants to be. All right, so doesn't look like a lot's happening, man. I'm not going to lie. Doesn't look like a decision is being made. Let's see how they feel about you. Boop, boop, be doop, boop, 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 boop. How's this person feel about Libra? What do their intentions look like? How's their energy look? That look familiar? Hang on. Oh, okay. Okay, not as bad as I thought, but it's not great. That looked familiar. Okay, let's talk about the important shit first. I think this person knows that if they gave themselves permission, they would fall so insanely in love with you that you could absolutely destroy them if you wanted to. If they let themselves fall in love. So they're scared of that. They're scared to death of that. This person does not have high apple pie in the sky hopes when it comes to finding a life partner and settling down and living happily ever after. They're very jaded, right? So, looks like they're keeping their options open and looking for sex connections only. But they know that they could easily fall in love with you. Easily. Obviously, when somebody's in that energy, I get that energy. I'm not saying I don't. I 100% understand what it feels like to be in that place. They have not healed from the last time or the last 4 or 5 times they were stabbed in the back. Have not healed from that at all. So this is where it gets slippery. Do they have bad intentions? That's a tough one to call. I personally think there's nothing wrong with being at a place where you're broken, guarded, and afraid of getting hurt. Oh man, I get that. 100%. Personally though, my thing is, every time I found myself in that place and I was wanting to play this game, I was open and honest about it. I was open, upfront, and honest about it. I ain't trying to have no relationship. Not trying to do that. You know, if you want to fuck around and play around, that's all I'm looking for. I'm not going to string you along. I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass. I'm not going to breadcrumb you. I'm not going to lead you on. Right? It's not worth it. It's not worth the drama and the headache and the bullshit just to get laid. No, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth the fucking headache. So that's my thing. That's where I'm like, I don't agree with their intentions. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with their intentions. I understand where they're coming from, but I don't think you should approach a connection like that. I think you should be more transparent about where you're at, where your mind's at, where your heart's at, you know? I think they're too afraid of falling in love. All right, well, let's get the advice. What's the advice for Libra? Ace of Swords reversed. Well, first, again, I'm going to go back to what I was talking about in the beginning. Have you made your feelings and your intentions known? For those of you who are saying, no, not really, I don't know if they're aware that I'm into them or not, you might want to make your intentions clear. Because if you don't, this is going to string along and you know, you're going to be, basically this is going to be like a vehicle that's on its last fucking leg and you're trying to drive it across the country and you're not going to make it. You're going to end up broken down, stranded out in the middle of nowhere. And 2026 is going to be a year of just trying to get up, put yourself back together, you know, stuck in a frequency of stagnation and sadness and betrayal, and it's going to fuck up the whole path for 2026. Those of you who have made your intentions as crystal clear as a glass of ice water, it's about time to bounce, dude. It's about time to boot, scoot, and motherfucking boogie. Sometimes Well, actually, honestly, over this past week, I've had 2 separate people ask me the same question. Will this person change their mind and want to be with me after they told me they've lost feelings for me? No. No, they won't. I'm not going to get into the energetic properties of the way energy behaves and whatnot, but no. You don't lose feelings that are true love. What you lose is that explosive rush of emotions that you get when you first meet a new person. That's what you lose. That's natural. You're going to lose that when you meet your divine life partner. That's going to wear off. That's what you lose. Right? And when that goes away, you ain't going to get it back. You may be able to spend some time away from somebody for a long time and then come back and experience a form of that rush to the surface again, but it's the half-life is going to be much shorter. It's going to wear off quicker, you know. Don't let nobody string you along, man. Don't do that. Don't do that. For those of you who have this, there is no question as to what your intentions are. The cat is out of the bag. It's no fucking secret. I wouldn't bring this energy into December if I was you. I don't even know if I'd bring it to Thanksgiving. I would not. Anyway, I feel like those were the messages that my Libra family needed to hear. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. Thanks again for tuning in and playing along. Don't forget, the information for personal readings is all down here in the description. All right? I'm out of here now, y'all. I will see you sometime between now and the rest of all eternity.